announcement has been paid for by the
nOw.
You just made the list!
1 month from 2 years.
Oh, my mic was off. We're fixed. We're fixed. So how was everybody's 4th of July? Welcome. Welcome back to another nOw podcast. This week, of course, we're going to be talking the week in wrestling. And we're also going to be talking... Yeah, I fixed it. We're also going to be talking about our favorite factions of all time. So that'll be fun. Did you have fun making this list, Trevor?
Yeah, it was harder than I thought.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that I took off some of the older ones. Thank you, Bet, for the host. I have a lot of new age factions. Because, yeah, I mean, a lot of the newer age ones I kind of liked more once I thought about it than the older ones. But, yeah, you want to kick us off with Monday Night Raw?
Sure. Alright, we opened with, hold on. Sorry.
You're good.
We opened with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce discussing the planned triple threat match for the night to determine the last spot in the Money in the Bank for Raw. Randy Orton was originally supposed to be part of that triple threat, but he's not there. So they're going to have a battle royal to determine who's going to be in the last spot. And Matt Riddle comes in on his little scooter and says he has a note from Randy Orton that says he's to take his place. And the note is pretty funny, I thought. And
I thought it was good.
You had a little snake drawing at the bottom of it to say that Randy signed it with a snake. But they're not buying it, but they're like, yeah, you can be in there and represent Orton. So everybody else is already in the ring for the Battle Royal, and Riddle comes out, and they start. The Battle Royal itself was decent, not great, but, you know, decent. It pushed some stories too. Jeff Hardy versus Cedric Alexander. Then you had the Viking Raiders, AJ Styles and Omos, because AJ almost came out to the ring and eliminated them both.
Yep.
The Ali and Mansoor little thing they got going, but the winner obviously was Riddle. Everybody could see that one coming. Wasn't a big surprise, but still, it was good. A good start for Raw.
Is who using their full name? Riddle? No, he's still Riddle.
No, I just call him Matt Riddle. You know, I'm not Vince. People have first names.
True, they do.
Next up, we had kind of a rematch from last week, but just a singles match instead of a tag team match. It was Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. And it was a good match. Well, decent match. But still just so, like, over them just jobbing now Baszler like this.
I agree.
She's so much better than this I like Nikki Cross also, so I'm not mad that she's winning, but I just don't like this, that they're just ruining Shayna Baszler.
Absolutely.
And then Bliss came out there and was helping, even though one is a heel and one is clearly a face. I would put Alexa Bliss in heel. Her character seems like it. She's probably maybe more in between, but If Nikki Cross wanted to be a superhero, she definitely wouldn't be hanging out with Alexa Bliss, especially because they weren't friends anymore.
Yeah. Well, hello. Hello, Cool J Gamer. He came in
But
hot.
yeah, it was a decent match overall. Just please use Baszler better. Break
I
her
agree.
off from not.
Yeah, she should be where she was in NXT. She's talented.
She should definitely be in the main title hunt.
We got a lot of redemptions going on right now for NAW #1 contendership.
I mean, she doesn't have to have the belt, but she should at least be in the running.
Yeah. I mean, after what she did at Elimination Chamber, she went straight from Elimination Chamber to this, so that kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Then we had Kofi Kingston come out, and he's pissed off about what happened at the end of the match last week, the main event, the Hell in a Cell, where they locked the door and just beat the crap.
We are live, DK. We are live. This is not a rerun. People said that the notification said this is a rerun.
Yeah, the thing at the bottom for mine says.
Oh, it does say. Yeah, I didn't change it. That's on me. I should have changed it.
You just made the list.
Ty with the sub. It is live. I promise it's live. I just didn't change the thing. I thought it was already switched over. My bad. No, but this is live. This is a live NOW podcast. I promise. All right, moving on.
But yeah, Kofi comes to the ring. He's pissed off because they beat the hell out of Woods after the match was over.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't get into there to help him. He calls out Lashley and MVP, but only MVP comes out. Well, he came out with the ladies, but Lashley isn't there. He told him to have the night off. And Kofi's just going on and off on him. And then Kingston ends up hitting him with the Trouble in Paradise and just knocking him the hell out. This was really good, I thought. Kingston and MVP are great together.
Oh, this was a great promo.
Yeah, they're just both great on the mic, and together they really good promo.
Yeah, and this story is good too. I'm excited for tonight, as they do have MVP back in the ring. But we'll be talking about that next week, of course.
Yeah, and just something besides Lashley versus Drew with the main event scene. It's great.
Yeah,
what we've been asking for.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit more in depth once we get to that main event.
And then we have Eva Marie with Dewdrop in the back.
Love it.
And Eva Marie said that Dewdrop was just overwhelmed last week. That's why she didn't get in the ring with her, and they're gonna have a rematch tonight. So the match is Asuka and Naomi versus Eva Marie and Dewdrop. This one, I mean, the wrestlers in it are good except for Eva Marie, but she didn't really do much, of course.
Yeah, and I mean, we really don't know what Eva Marie is going to be like in the ring. Apparently, she's been training since she got released. So that's been a while of her training, so maybe she got better. Just she hasn't been able to showcase it yet. Yeah.
Yeah. And Piper Nevins is good, but I don't think she should have beat Asuka and Naomi by herself. Basically.
Yeah.
Because Asuka's a badass and Naomi is really good too.
Yeah, that made her look very good, being able to get the pin on Asuka.
Yeah, it also made them look kind of weak though, because,
it did.
Like we said, Eva Marie did nothing. But the story's all right. I mean, she shouldn't have got the win over there. They should have had the numbers game and took her. And maybe, I know her losing wouldn't be a great thing, but if she's losing to two of that caliber, then it doesn't make her look bad. If she's putting up a good fight.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still lose and look good. That's been proven many times.
Jungle Boy versus Omega. Jungle Boy came out with
Kyle O'Reilly.
like $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we see it. We see it.
And next
DK,
up we'll
how
have
sweet.
Ricochet versus John Morrison. They had a little thing in the back where Ricochet stole John Morrison's dripstick and used it to spray the Miz. Funny, no?
It was funny.
The match itself, of course, really good because
Very good.
John Morrison and Ricochet use them right, and they're amazing. Ricochet
Yeah, absolutely.
especially. I mean, nothing against John Morrison. He's really great too, but I'd say Ricochet is one of the best in the ring right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you let him do his stuff and give him good storyline.
Yeah, as long as you let him work, he's going to be one of the top guys in the company easily.
Yeah, just don't give him stupid spots and chasing the 24/7 title.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Not have him in the jobber locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I mean, you put him with Miz and Morrison, and that's money right there because all three of them are great. Yeah, but really good match. Ricochet sent him over the barricade, and neither man can win get back to the ring. So I'm not a fan of the double count out, but sometimes.
What a crossbody though. That was insane. That was probably the biggest spot we've seen from the main roster in a long time. That's not like an Extreme Rules match or a ladder match or something like that. I mean, he did a crossbody, a springboard crossbody from the ring to John Morrison sitting on the barricade. It looked brutal. Obviously, we don't know what was behind the barricade, but that looked amazing.
Yeah, just let them do this kind of stuff that they can do and not hurt each other. I mean, they obviously would get hurt a little bit, but not like serious hurt.
With live crowds, that would have gotten a big ol' holy shit chant.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Thank you, DK, for the host. But all right.
Next we had a 6-woman tag, which was Charlotte, Natalya, and Tamina versus Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Rhea Ripley. So we're combining these feuds again. Didn't they already do this match?
They did.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good wrestlers in here. So it was a decent match still.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, decent for a Raw, you know. You gotta grade on a curve for Raw.
I don't know. After last week, them having a good week for the first time in years, a better week than SmackDown in years. I mean, I'm kind of letting them go up a little bit.
Yeah, they haven't been bad the last couple weeks.
No, they've
this
been
one was
pretty
actually
decent.
a decent Raw too.
I agree. Just the only thing I didn't agree with is the ending.
The ending here, this Rose got a big boot from the Queen, and she got pinned. And then Rhea Ripley came in and gave her a chop block. Gave Charlotte the chop block after the match because Charlotte chop blocked her during the match. So
Ty just asked if there's going to be a survey for NXT Great American Bash. I mean, it's not a pay-per-view. It's a special, but it's not a pay-per-view. So I don't know. That's something that we're going to have to talk about.
I didn't even think about it. If we want to do that.
No, it's not
really
a pay-per-view. It's on cable television. It's not a pay-per-view. Like, we would have done one for, like, Blood and Guts, if that was the case.
It's just a big card on the normal night. Where they want to go all out. Isn't AEW doing a big card this week, too? Because they're going on the road?
Yeah, Road Rager.
Next, we had Elias versus Jackson Riker. But before that, we have Riker in the back, smacking himself with the strap. That's going to be a strap match.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a few of these through the night. R-Truth came up and was talking to him. Basically was like, why are you doing that? Riker didn't really say anything. And then R-Truth's like, alright, I'm going to... And then Mansoor came and was talking to him. But he talked back to him and nothing special. They were just showing that he's getting ready for a strap match.
Yeah.
And the strap match itself was not very long. And
No.
Riker, of course, got the win because
Why wouldn't he? Yeah.
why are they going to do something with Elias? You know, that was
Yeah.
over at one time really good. And
Been on a slippery slope for a while.
yeah, I liked Elias for a long time, and now it's just like, all right, he's going to lose. Move it along.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened to him. I wish I had more answers on that. Because
Yeah,
he was a main eventer for a bit, and at least in the mid-card title scene, and then he just kind of faded away.
And then we're on to the main event, which
Ugh.
is Drew McIntyre versus Riddle versus AJ Styles. If Riddle wins, Randy Orton is in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I know we don't like the ending to this match.
The
but
match was
itself
the match was
really
good. Yeah, the match was good.
But
Just
if you put AJ Styles in a match with anybody, it's going to be a good match. And
Yeah.
Riddle and McIntyre are both good,
mhm.
even if McIntyre's been pushed down our throats a little much lately.
Yep. I just really hope that he does not get the briefcase. Because Drew McIntyre does win this match, and he is moving on to Money in the Bank. But please, God, keep him out of the title scene for a while. I mean, you just had a match saying that he'll never challenge for it while Bobby Lashley has it. But if he has the briefcase, that voids that whole thing, which is something that I have in mind that they're probably going to go ahead and do. Because the last 2 years has been nothing but Drew McIntyre in the main event. So, I don't know. I hope they switch it up because there's a lot of good people in this Money in the Bank match. But then you throw Drew McIntyre in there and you kind of... I don't know. It all
Like I
depends on
said,
what you do.
I like McIntyre. Hopefully he just doesn't win, but he's good in the match. And he can do some good stuff, so... I don't hate that he's in the match. I just would have liked to seen one.
I would have loved to have seen not necessarily Randy Orton, but maybe AJ Styles in there, because you have a lot of high flyers right now. You have a lot of really fast, high impact guys. So adding AJ Styles to that mix, that would have been really, really fun. You kind of got to slow it down just a little bit. Yes, it is the top 10 factions. But yeah, you have to slow it down just a little bit with Drew McIntyre. You're not going to be able to go Ricochet pace. So I don't know. I mean, he's going to have some good spots. Just hopefully he's not the one that gets the briefcase. Hopefully, because you got a lot of guys that are really deserving of that briefcase right now in that match that are kind of either stuck in the mid card or haven't really broken out yet, like Ricochet. So I mean, hopefully they do the right thing here.
Yeah. This, like I said, this was a good Raw. Not as good as last week, probably, but you know, still better than they had been. And the match of the night for me on Raw was the John Morrison Ricochet.
Same. That was a really good match.
The main event was good, but just the ending soured a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. You want to take NXT or AEW this week?
I'm fine with either one.
All right. You want to go ahead with NXT?
All right. Opening match is number one contenders for the tag titles, the women's tag titles. We had Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus Io Shirai, and Zoe Stark. Beginning, it was just everybody brawling before they even get the match started.
Yep.
And it was a good match.
It was.
I liked it. The ladies all can go.
I was really surprised that this was a 6-person match, a 6-person tag team match, and they were able to put a good match out of it on a regular TV show, because usually they're not long enough and they just feel like it was missing something. This one was really good. I was actually really impressed with how well they did this 6-woman match on a weekly TV show.
And it's nice to see the women's tag titles be taken more serious than the main roster.
Yeah, compared to the main roster ones.
Because these three teams are all really good, even if the team that's won was Io Shirai and Zoe Stark, even if they were just kind of thrown together, not really been a team long, they were still a good team together.
No,
I would have preferred Ember Moon and
tag teams are not factions. Factions have more than 2 people in it.
Shotzi to win, but that's just because I'm an Ember Moon mark. But overall, this was a really good match. Great opener. You know, NXT and AEW both really know how to get their opening match just to get the crowd going. I don't think there was a crowd for this one, or I don't remember there being maybe there was a crowd, but we're gonna have crowds back soon. I think AEW starts this week. I mean, we talked about Road Rager. They start this week, and I don't know when when WWE's, but it's real soon.
I think July 19th was the date that I heard.
Yeah, it's coming up real soon.
Yeah, I mean, AEW's had fans for a little bit now, but now they're finally going to be back in a stadium instead of Daly's Place. Yeah,
this was the last Daly's Place for a while. They got a thing coming up, but then after that, it'll be a real long while, I think. Then we have Johnny Gargano attacking Karrion Kross on his way to the ring. He just ran and jumped him, and then of course Austin Theory came up behind and jumped him too. And then of course Karrion Kross got the advantage and tried to smash Johnny's head with the steel steps. And then Samoa Joe came out here and got involved, because that's what Joe does. I've heard Joe is really pushing to get it cleared, and he wants to be in the ring in NXT.
I hope so.
I want to see that.
DK, I really wouldn't count Team Extreme as a faction, just because, I don't know, that's a manager. I don't know, would you count Team Extreme as a faction? I mean, technically she wrestled. Lita wrestled. But
I mean,
that was more of a
it's
manager role.
They would have put them on there.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if you think that it's a faction, I guess throw it on there. I personally didn't. On my list, I didn't have any tag teams that had a...
Yeah, mine are all...
Yeah, mine are all traditional factions.
And then later on, of course, Kross jumped Johnny Gargano outside the building because Gargano was trying to get away. And then it looked like he was about to get run over by Karrion Kross, but then when they cut back, Joe had picked Gargano up, and then took him inside and just left Austin Theory sitting outside, laying on the ground. I'm like, what, Joe? You couldn't help him up too? But it's Kross, so this was like, I don't really care about Kross, but then Johnny Gargano's good, so is Austin Theory, so hopefully...
Karrion Kross is probably the only person pulling NXT down.
And I've heard he's getting called up soon. So
yeah, I mean, he did have a match on Main Event, which apparently Vince was extremely impressed by. So I mean, there's a chance that Vince is going to pull him up sooner than later. But does that mean that he's going to lose the title to Johnny? I mean, probably not, I would say. I don't think you put the title on Johnny. out of everybody. I mean, he's held the title twice already.
Yeah, I don't know who they'll be putting it on, but
Yeah, you'd have
it's got to be someone better than Cross. I mean, Cross I think will work better on the main roster.
Yeah.
He's more the slow, not so like high flyers down in NXT. And
No, I mean you're right. I mean, he's.
I still don't think he's going to be great, but he'll be better on there.
Yeah, he'll be better suited for the things around him. Because what's around him right now is a bunch of guys that are typically around 6 foot even, that are very fast, very high impact guys like Finn Balor, and even Pete Dunne's a shorter guy. Adam Cole's only 5'11". I mean, all the guys you saw in that Fatal 5-Way, I think the tallest guy was like Kyle O'Reilly out of the 4 of them, and he's only like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, they're all a lot better than Cross too.
Oh, I completely agree with that.
Next up, we had Roderick Strong with the rest of Diamond Mine, versus Asher Hale, and this was a squash.
It was.
I mean, we all expected this to be a squash, and it was just.
Yeah, but I love seeing Roderick Strong back, and he's looking really good, and he debuted a new finisher, which was. I didn't like it when the guy tapped. Like, it didn't look like it was a clean finisher. But after he tapped, and then he really locked it in, then I was like, okay, that's a better finisher. That's a better submission.
Yeah, I think they said it's a key lock.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be his name for it, but... Next up, we had Cameron Grimes versus Ari Sterling. Another kind of squash type match, you know. The LA Knight interrupted Cameron Grimes' celebration, taunting him, making fun of him about the $1 Million Man, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then he challenged him to a match for this week at Great American Bash, where if Cameron Grimes wins, he becomes the new $1 Million champion. If LA Knight wins, he has to be his butler. Cameron Grimes has to be the butler. So he's going to be Virgil for LA Knight. It seems what I would predict to happen.
Yep.
Which is kind of sad because I like Cameron Grimes a little bit better than I used to. I don't think he's the greatest, but he's not.
He's not as bad as I originally thought he was. He's grown on me a little bit. I'm sure DK would love to hear that. He has grown on me quite a bit in the past 2 months.
Yeah, I didn't like him at all at first, and now I think he's good.
I still hate his finisher.
But yeah, he's not Virgil.
Yeah. I mean, it could be good storyline. I think it could be.
It should be.
Yeah, it could be.
They both have charisma and.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it could be pretty good, even if he loses and ends up having to be a butler. Just because, yeah, he'll be able to make it work. He's good enough to make it work.
Next we have a little face-to-face before their fight at the Great American Bash between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. One of these days I'm gonna speak right, the whole time. And they're getting in each other's face. They're trading back and forth. It was really good promo because both these guys can promo very well, and this is gonna be a hell of a match.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole even brought up O'Reilly's wife. She was just no, that was someone else's wife that got released. That was Roderick's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the Undisputed Era guys.
Mm-hmm.
But tried to bait him, and then Joe is out there getting in between them, and then Kyle O'Reilly hooked in the heel hook on Adam Cole, and Joe just walked away. And Cole was like begging him to get him to break it.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe basically was like, don't see nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's a fan of Adam Cole.
No, especially after knocking him out last week or the week before.
Yeah, with the Cochina clutch, choking him out.
DK with to the moon.
To the moon.
Next up, we have a mixed tag between Jake Atlas and Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li and Boa. It's good for the story because, I mean, the story is okay between these teams, but it was a short match.
Yeah.
And Lee and Boa get the win, of course. 'Cause they're the big story right now. They're gonna keep getting the push.
Xia Li's kick is filthy.
Yeah.
That thing is filthy.
And Mi Ying caused a distraction. Martinez got distracted by her, and that's when Lee hit her with a suplex and a spinning heel kick.
Mm-hmm.
And got the win. So, not a bad match. And then we had a face-to-face between Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, and MSK. And this was a hell of a promo, and I can't wait for this match.
Yeah, this was good.
Great American Bash, Tag Team Championship on the line, and this should be a hell of a match. You got the High Flyers and MSK, and then the Brawlers in Timothy Thatcher and Ciampa.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who will win this one. It's kind of hard to call. Are they going to take the belts off MSK that quickly, or are they going to give Ciampa and Toothless Timmy the belts?
Yeah, that's a good question. This one could go either way. I really wouldn't. I don't know which way to go with this one.
Yeah, I kind of want to see Ciampa and Thatcher get it, just because I like Ciampa a lot. But I don't think I'll be mad either way.
Yeah. No, I mean, either way, I mean, NXT, they know how to do tag team wrestling. So they'll be fine.
And then we have the announcement that the NXT Breakout Tournament is going to return. They didn't have it last year because, COVID. And we got a lot of people from that are in the main event scene right now, or not the main event scene, but like Bronson Reed and Isaiah Swerve Scott. They're in the
main event of this night.
So that should be pretty good. Hopefully bring in some good people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main event was the NXT North American Championship, Bronson Reed versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. And this one, really good match, and then the ending I did not think was going to happen.
I didn't see this happening.
Isaiah Swerve Scott won the belt, and I
The
thought they were going to
new
keep it on
North
Reed for a
American
while.
champion.
Yeah, I think Reed is getting called up. That's why, because they want to
Why
push
else?
bigger people, and he is a big dude.
Yeah, and why else would he lose the title this quick?
Yeah. You can't be mad about this because Hit Row is like big
Really
thing
good right
They're
now.
really pushing them.
Yeah.
I do hate to see it because Bronson Reed did, like you said, hasn't had the title very long, but he did get to defend it at least.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Isaiah Swerve Scott is pretty good in the ring too. And Hit Row is a great faction right now. Did they make our list? Spoiler alert, they didn't make mine. But they're new. Give them a while.
Maybe.
But yeah, NXT is good as usual.
Yeah.
A lot of good matches. Nothing too okay. The mixed tag thing was okay, I didn't really care about, but it was still not bad, and it was short. So.
Yeah, and I mean they've been building it up for a little bit. The Jake Atlas siding with Mercedes Martinez, and they've been building that up for a couple weeks at least. So it somewhat made sense to move that along. and to actually show us what Boa can do, which he didn't do a ton, but I mean, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and I don't mind squash matches either, because you need them as long as you're not using them like too much.
Yeah, but that with that 6-women tag team match, they could have done whatever for the rest of the night.
Yeah. But
Let's see.
that was NXT.
Moving on to AEW. We opened up with Eddie Kingston and Penta versus the Young Bucks. I'm loving Penta's Joker attire. He's been wearing for the past couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a pretty good match. A lot of interference though in it. I thought that kind of pulled it back just a little bit. But you're bound to have it when you have the Young Bucks, because I mean, you got Kenny, you got the Good Brothers, you got Matt Hardy's faction now also jumping in certain things. So, yeah, you kind of knew that this was going to have some sort of interference somewhere down the line. But surprisingly, Eddie Kingston and Penta end up beating the Young Bucks after Brandon Cutler accidentally sprays Matt Jackson in the eyes. Yeah, this was good. This was good. Frankie Kazarian also came out to fight off the distractors, but Kingston and Penta end up picking up the win. And it was a good match. I can't be mad at this match. But this also leads to Eddie Kingston and Penta getting a tag team championship match next week at Road Rager.
That's why I'm not mad about the interference, because then hopefully they can put on a non-interference match. There's maybe people from ringside, hopefully, and have a really good match, because this one was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
But let's put on one without all the outside stuff.
Yeah, and I do love having fans back again, because in this match there was a point where the Young Bucks almost got pinned, and it looked like they did. I actually saw it on Twitter. The referee posted it, the referee of that match. It was a 2 count, and then for the 3rd count, he smacked Matt Jackson's hand, and the crowd was chanting that was 3 for a while. But yeah, it's fun having fans back in the arenas and feeling the energy of the crowds again.
Yeah, the crowds definitely do help. You never think about missing the crowd until you don't have it for all this time.
Absolutely. And then we had Ethan Page in an interview with Tony Schiavone basically talking about the coffin match, saying that he wants to end Darby Allin. Sting appears as well as Darby, and they have a little scuffle with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
Well, Sting drug out a coffin.
Yeah, Darby jumped out of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the one thing that I love AEW, but the one thing I don't like, I can't really say I don't like it, it's just a little much sometimes, is I feel like every segment is a brawl. And I don't know why. But they've been doing it for a while, where there's multiple brawls in a night. But yeah, this leads us to Jungle Boy.
1 second on the coffin thing.
Yeah.
Yes, they were supposed to have the coffin match this week, but that's not happening because the story on it was Ethan Page got clawed, his eyes were clawed by Darby. But the real reason I heard it was like someone died in the area that they were having and something, and they're just didn't want to have this out of respect.
Really?
Someone killed in the area. That's why they're not doing it this week.
Oh.
Well, this coming week. That's why they changed it. Because now he said,
I didn't hear about
I want
that.
at least 1 week where you don't attack me before I'll agree to this match. So it might have it at Fyter Fest, which is obviously where they're going to have it.
Yeah. Which is a couple weeks away.
I don't remember where I was seeing that, but on another, some other channel
Yeah,
I was seeing it on.
I'm gonna do some research on that, because I didn't hear about that, but it makes sense. But next up, we had Jungle Boy versus Jack Evans. This is a big match for Jungle Boy. One, because he just came off the match of the week with Kenny Omega. But number two, this match was to have Jungle Boy be the first person in AEW with 50 wins in the company. Jungle Boy does obviously pick up the win. So Jungle Boy is the first person in AEW to pick up 50 wins, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, I mean, Jungle Boy is just so over. This match was okay, but it was more just a highlight, Jungle Boy and 50 wins. And then after the match, Matt Hardy's faction, the Hardy Family Office, came out to the ring, only for Jurassic Express and Christian Cage to make the save on that one. Let's see. Next up, we had Andrade, who challenges Matt Sydal to a match, which is going to be on Wednesday. So we will see Andrade in the ring for the first time since leaving WWE. Well, since not leaving, but being dropped from WWE. We'll see him in a match again, and it's against Matt Sydal, who's a seasoned veteran, so that should be very good. So we'll be seeing that at Road Rager. And then we had Kenny Omega out in the ring. He was claiming that he had nobody left, that he's beaten everybody. Then the Dark Order comes out. Omega was kind of laughing because none of them have winning records or winning records enough to face the world champion. But they didn't come out for themselves. They came out for what the crowd was chanting, cowboy shit. So they came out for Hangman Adam Page, which probably isn't going to go over too well because Hangman is kind of a, I don't want to say he's a lone wolf, but he doesn't like people talking for him. But this story right here is 5 years in the making with Hangman Adam Page. So I love that they're going with this. I've always said that Hangman's probably going to be the one to take the title off of Kenny. But I don't think it's going to happen soon. I think this is just a teaser. I don't think it's going to happen for a couple more months.
Do it maybe an All Out in August.
You think do you think they'll take the title off Kenny that quick?
Maybe. I mean, they've got a while to build. I mean, it's over. Probably it's towards the end of the month, so there's close to 2 months to build it.
I mean, they're
already teasing it.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a build for a while. This has been going on for quite a bit.
The crowd was chanting cowboy shit the whole time, and he wasn't even out there.
Nope.
So, I mean, they may wait a little longer, but you don't want to wait too long. I mean, you can do a long-term storytelling and just don't screw it up. Don't pull a WCW and build up to Sting versus Hogan for a year and then blow it with a stupid overbooking.
Yeah, but we did get the goodbye and good night from the NAW champion. You like how I slid that in there? You like that?
Hey, Will. About time you got up.
But next up, we had the NXT Championship, which actually had really good build around it. I was surprised. Oh, he made it just in time for that comment. This build was actually really good for what it's worth. You kind of figured that Brian Pillman Jr. wasn't going to get the win out of this, and he was getting more attention, mainly because his father's Dark Side of the Ring was very popular, so obviously the Pillman name is active right now because of Dark Side of the Ring. But I mean, it was a good match. It was a much better match than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I mean, Miro still ends up picking up the win by referee stoppage due to the accolade.
Yeah, I'm loving this Miro. If we'd have seen this from the beginning from him, people would be even more excited. But I mean, I liked him when he was in WWE, and I didn't mind the stuff with Kip Sabian. I showed him as a more human, like joking around, talking about video games, which as
I didn't mind it.
Twitch channel, he loves video games like we do, so that's awesome. But this version of him is just great. He's intense. He's gonna kill you, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to hurt you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always liked Miro or Rusev, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah,
it's Miro Day now.
It's Miro Day. Next up, we had a backstage segment. It was Hangman Adam Page. He does take exception to the Dark Order going out and talking for him. And they all talked, basically supporting him. And Alex Reynolds comes out and tells him that it's his time. Which we all know that it is. It's been a slow burn ever since the days of Bullet Club, realistically. So this is gonna be something. Next up, we had Britt Baker, DMD, and Rebel versus Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. Yeah, Vicky Guerrero. I said it. I didn't really like this match. It wasn't terrible. But yeah, I mean, Britt Baker and Rebel end up picking up the win. That's pretty obvious. But after the match,
Vicky should never be in a match.
No.
She didn't do it in WWE when she was younger, and she's not young now.
No.
Stay out of the ring, please.
Yeah.
She's a fine manager. She gets the heat because she's annoying, but that's her job, and just stay out of the ring.
But after the match, Britt Baker gets thrown through a table via Nyla Rose, which looks pretty brutal. But yeah, I mean, this is just setting up for Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker.
And is Britt going to be face now? Because she's obviously being.
I guess in this feud.
Way.
I get
she's
I think she's
heel on the mic.
Yeah, which I mean, that's what I kind of like, is that you kind of just are who you are. Yes, there still is heels and faces, but in AEW, you kind of just are who you are, and you kind of get it how it is. I mean, you're not gonna have
mad about it. It's just funny.
Just like the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. That's basically two heel factions that are going at it. I mean, you made the Inner Circle a little bit face, but realistically, they're still the same.
It's Jericho. He's always going to get cheered.
Yeah, I mean,
the crowd is going to always sing along with his music.
Yeah, they didn't change how they acted or anything like that. They're still doing the same shit. There's just a bigger asshole faction now. But speaking of Inner Circle and Pinnacle, the main event was Sammy Guevara versus MJF, which has been hyped up a lot over the past couple weeks, especially on social media.
Jericho was on commentary all night, which I liked. Yeah. I enjoy that.
Yeah, I do like
Jericho, and he can talk.
And it's something different. It's something different seeing, hearing a different voice, and of course it's Chris Jericho, and like you said, he can talk with the best of them. So I like Jericho in commentary.
The promo MJF said, where he said, "You're gonna call Sammy the future because he's the present." I like that line because it showed MJF as an asshole, but his promos are really good too.
Yeah. No, I mean, the match itself was really good. And I mean, yeah, you had the tainted victory. Of course you were going to have the Pinnacle and MJF not do the right thing. I mean, MJF really hasn't gotten many honorable wins in his AEW career. Most of his wins come from some shady stuff, like the Dynamite Diamond Ring for a while. He was using that to knock people out with, and This time we had Shawn Spears hitting Sammy Guevara with a chair and having MJF pick up the victory. But like I said, this was a really good match. I think they could have probably done a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, this was a really good match.
I mean, I think we're going to get this a rematch sometime at a pay-per-view.
I agree.
don't think they wanted to go all out and just use everything.
Yeah, especially on a regular weekly TV. I mean, not like they don't go all out on weekly TV every now and then, but...
they wanted to just hold some stuff back.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. Rated, thanks for the host. But the other thing that I wanted to mention was the tribute video package to Daly's Place. I sent it to Travis last week after we did something. We were talking on Discord. But yeah, what a tribute video. Did you see that?
Yes, very good.
And it made you appreciate it so much. And then obviously the stuff with Brody. Very emotional, but
another YouTube channel they were talking about it, and he was like, "You did it again. You made me cry, you bastards."
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I will be the first one to tell you, I cried during the tribute night. Like, that was a very emotional night. Like, it was hard not to. Like, with his son and wife there, and just everything that they were showing, and everybody saying such nice things about him. And then even, like, not even just AEW, but, like, even people like Xavier Woods and the New Day having their podcast. They had a whole podcast episode on Brody Lee right after he passed away with Cesaro and Tyler Breeze, and they were all talking about the good times. And it is emotional. He was taken way too soon.
And I've heard that's why Wyatt's off TV, because he took it so hard.
Yeah, that's been the rumor, that that's why the Fiend's been gone, is because he's still dealing with the loss of Brody. But I mean, you know, but this tribute package to Daly's Place was great, and it showed you how good of a show that they have been during this pandemic era, with and without fans. Just opening it up with the speech from Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega, just looking at the dark, empty Daly's Place, and then going on to just a bunch of different matches, including the Stadium Stampede matches and everything like that. They really have made the best out of a shitty situation.
I think they handled it better in the beginning than WWE by having like the guys that weren't booked out there.
Yep.
You know, having some kind of crowd.
Yeah, you had some sort of noise. And it wasn't piped-in noise.
Yeah, it was. Thunderdome is good. Don't get me wrong. Kept people safe. Glad they did it.
But did it?
Crowd. I mean, it was better than having nothing like they were
I
having
agree.
for the longest time.
I agree. But that's always... I've had that conversation with a couple people. People are like, oh, well, WWE did the same stuff, and they were sorry that they were being safe. But, I mean, they had more COVID outbreaks than anybody, realistically. When everything was going down, there was so many people that got caught up with COVID that are employed by WWE in the Thunderdome.
Yeah,
So, I mean...
I preferred the AEW way, because then it was actually live people, even if they weren't going to give you the same reaction as a fan would, where they were going to cheer the person they liked. And, I mean, they were cheering and stuff, but I think it was more like, you will cheer for this guy, you'll cheer for these guys. Because they had them separated. All the good guys were on one side, and all the bad guys were basically on the other.
No, it was great. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It also gave us when Sammy started singing Judas out there. That was hilarious.
That was
couldn't
great.
Remember the words.
They've done so many good things in the past 2 years at Daly's Place, and it's crazy that it's been, well, almost 2 years realistically.
Yeah, not quite 2 years.
But
it's been over a year and a half at least.
But it's just wild. They've been in Daly's Place for this long, and that tribute package really showed, like, what great things that they've done since. I mean, realistically, they were only on the road their first TV episode was in October, and then by March, they were in Daly's Place. So, I mean, you only had a couple months there, 5-6 months before you were off to Daly's place. So, yeah, I mean, almost the entire AEW existence has been pandemic era.
It was nice of them to be back in on a Wednesday at a decent time, and their numbers did go back
their
up.
ratings went up. Yep, their ratings went back up as we kind of
hit the million again, but they are back up over 800,000.
Yeah, which we kind of guessed. We kind of assumed that as soon as they were going to go back to Wednesday night at their original time slot.
Back up because I think people just didn't even think about them being back on Wednesday this week.
Yeah, I mean it's a learning curve. They've been Friday at 10 p.m. for 2 months now. So
and Raw got like its third lowest rating ever, and recently that's for a non-holiday.
Yeah,
they were under 2 million. So, but I like where they're going with Raw. They've been getting better, so I'm willing to be positive towards them too. So, let's hope that they're both going up because I want to see them all succeed because then we win. We win as the fans. But
so
oh wait, you forgot the line of the night by Jim Ross.
Oh, WWE Dynamite.
People lost their shit. He needs to go. He needs to retire.
And then, did you see his tweet?
Yeah, he said he's not quitting.
He said, "Oh, it seems I made a mistake tonight. People want me to leave, but guess what? I'm not going anywhere."
It's like, oh God, he's human, and he worked for them how long?
A long time.
Mistakes happen. It's not like he was racist on the air or something. He made a little mistake. Get over it, people.
Give me 1 second. All right, so on to Friday Night SmackDown. And I'm gonna do this quick because Roman wasn't there, and I didn't care. I mean, there was a good match. There was a very, very good match. I won't say that I didn't care completely, but without Roman, it just wasn't the same. There was, yeah. But yeah, we had Edge coming out to open the show. And I mean, he showed emotion, which you don't see a lot of on the main roster anymore. His promo had very deep emotion, and basically talking about his disappointment since WrestleMania, and basically saying that he has confidence to beat Roman Reigns, and he knows that he's going to be the one that beats him. But yeah, I love the passion that he had in this promo because we haven't seen that in quite some time. Next up, we had Shinsuke Nakamura and Big E versus Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. How do you feel about them trying to push Corbin face? He's been
willing to let it go because I'm never been the biggest Corbin fan, but I kind of feel sorry for him. He was really they towed his vehicle in this, and even
his G-Wagon.
There's Rick Boogs coming up to him afterwards and just making all those jokes at his expense. It's like,
yeah, and Corbin's just sitting in the ring crying after he just. I mean, not only did he get his G-Wagon repossessed, but right after he saw his G-Wagon getting repossessed, he gets a big ending from Big E, and takes the pinfall. Yeah, I don't know. I loved Baron Corbin as the lone wolf, and then as soon as they win authority, he's really dropped down. But yeah, I mean,
they've had chances. They could have done stuff with him, and then they've screwed him up. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of him.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get a title.
Their fault.
Yeah, he didn't get a title as Constable Corbin, which he was in a management role, so why wouldn't you make him abuse that power to get himself a title? And then King Corbin
got squashed in the Money in the Bank cash-in.
Yeah, because of John Cena, and that's because he made comments about CTE and things like that, because he was pissed off at a doctor playing it off, which I get, but I guess professionalism and whatnot, he got punished for it. It is what it is. But I mean, yeah, that's at that time is when I was a big Baron Corbin fan. When he won the Money in the Bank, I was so hyped that he won Money in the Bank because Lone Wolf was a great gimmick. I loved everything he was doing, and then he shaved his head, and it's been downhill since.
I think he's better with the shaved head, actually, because
You think? I like the straggly hair.
He was going bald, so it wasn't a good look. It was more of a Hogan look, and I always thought
Made him look
Hogan's hair was
mean.
ridiculous. But you've seen what they trademarked? The name.
Happy Corbin?
Yeah. And
I'm hoping it's a joke, and I hope they don't do anything with it.
What the hell are you guys gonna do with this?
Yeah, Happy Corbin has been trademarked by WWE. Happy Corbin.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they don't do anything with that. But next up, we had Bayley cutting a promo on Bianca Belair, claiming that her loss last week is not a good omen for her her young title reign. And Bianca Belair came out and basically challenged Bayley and said that she wants an I Quit match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, we're going to have, at Money in the Bank, Bayley versus Bianca Belair in an I Quit match, and I can almost guarantee it's going to end with the hair.
Yeah, and Bayley said if she loses, she'll quit SmackDown and wrestling. I don't think she's going to quit wrestling because, she's not, but I think she's going to end up going to Raw.
Yeah, most likely.
Because I think they're getting ready to do another superstar shakeup.
Which would make sense. Next up, we had the best match in the night. We had a last man standing match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Of course this was going to be good because it was these two guys together. A lot of high spots in this match. A lot of brutality. But this was a really good match. Kevin Owens ends up powerbombing Sami Zayn through 2 tables and onto the ring apron to pick up the win.
That looked like it hurt. That ring apron power. I mean, the other 2 looked like they hurt too, but that ring apron one, I don't know. My back was just like, he's not getting up.
Yeah, and he's been doing that. I miss when Kevin Owens was doing that. He was doing it a lot in NXT, doing that apron powerbomb.
He's a great heel.
Absolutely.
I know he's not a heel right now. He's more of a tweener, like Steve Austin style.
And Sammy sells it so well. So well.
Yeah.
How's it going, Bullet?
I know we've seen a lot of fights between these two, but
I don't care.
I don't get tired of this one.
Nope.
This isn't Lashley McIntyre where it's
no,
slow and
they bring something. Yeah,
These
they
two,
bring something every
they
time.
change it up.
Yeah, I love it. And then next up we had Liv Morgan. We had Sonya Deville out in the ring announcing that there is somebody else that's going to be in the Money in the Bank match. We had the return of Zelina Vega, which I'm just going to say I hated it. Not because I wanted her to go somewhere else, but you made all that fuss and that big deal about I support unionization, and just talked nonstop, and then went right back like nothing happened, and deleted all those Twitter posts that you made. I just don't get it. I mean, after everything you said, now you're going to come back, and you came back to lose. She had a match with Liv Morgan, and she ended up losing. So you come back just to lose. So last week we did say we didn't know if Liv Morgan was in the Money in the Bank match. She is not. She's gonna
be. She's gotta be. She's beaten.
That's the story here.
And
Yeah, I mean that's the story here.
Don't see why they just are putting the women in the match, like I said. But
yeah.
I think, like we said last week, I think it's because they don't have enough women.
Yeah.
To do it I mean, they had a qualifying match on SmackDown, or on Raw, but the women on SmackDown are just getting put in the match.
But I will say, this is kind of in line with Zelina Vega returning. Aleister Black has announced he will not return to WWE. After tons of rumors came out that Zelina Vega's back because Aleister Black has re-signed, he made it vocal that he is not coming back to WWE. Now, that could be a swerve because he's going to come back to NXT, but he stated he is not going back to WWE. So, for anybody that wants Aleister Black back in WWE, he has made it vocal he is not. So
I don't want him back.
No,
I want him to
I don't
go
either.
somewhere that they're going to use him.
Absolutely.
He's really good in the ring, too.
Oh, I agree completely.
I don't know about Vega. I've only seen her in a few matches in
She
WWE.
is very good. She is very
I've heard
good.
she's good outside of WWE, but in WWE, I haven't seen much.
Because she didn't get to wrestle. She was just stuck as Andrade's valet, which is unfortunate because she is a very good wrestler.
I mean, she was good as that, too, but but the few matches, it was like, she doesn't seem very good.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you
Just
really...
the way they booked her.
Yeah, the only thing you really got to see with her is, like, a handful of hurricanranas from the apron to the outside, which she did to multiple guys. But that's pretty much all you saw from her. But, I mean, I am glad that she's wrestling again, but, I mean, you don't talk all that shit just to come back to the company that you were talking all that shit about. That just doesn't make sense. But next up, we had Seth Rollins backstage, pissed off because they gave Edge the Universal Championship match and not him because he's the one that wanted it, and he feels like he's the one that deserves it. But Sonya Deville did reveal to him that he will have an opportunity if he can beat Cesaro next week in a qualifying match. He will be in the Money in the Bank match. Storyline-wise, I think he's going to lose that match, but I guess we'll see. Next up, we had Angelo Dawkins versus Otis, who looks completely different. Completely different. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, but he is taken more serious now. He does remind me of Vader. And he finished him off with the Vader bomb, so it makes sense. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It was a good sequence and everything, and I like the story sort of. But yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a couple more weeks, and then I'll say something about it.
I don't like them squashing Dawkins.
Montez is out, so I mean.
Yeah, I know they can't do the tag team thing right now, but
yeah.
Even so, it just makes him look kind of weak because he got squashed. I mean, not just figuratively at the end with the Vader bomb, but this was just a squash match.
Yeah. And then to end the show, we had Jimmy Uso coming out to the ring, calling out Edge, and yeah, Edge basically asked him where'd his backbone go, and he basically became one of Roman's bitches. And then they had a brawl, which, Edge used a piece of a chair, put it in Jimmy's mouth.
Which is what he did to Roman.
Yeah, it was like a yes lock. Which, I guess that's what he's going to start using now that Daniel Bryan is away. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like Edge. But, you know.
I mean, the story's still good. But why was it Roman there? You know?
Yeah, that's what I didn't like. I mean, yes, the stories are still good. You're right on that aspect, but yeah, I'm not a fan of. Yeah. But that was your week in wrestling. So you guys have made it. You guys have made it to the main event of the NOW podcast. We are doing our top 10 favorite factions of all time. Not the best. Our favorite factions of all time.
Main event Jey Uso?
Main event Jey Uso. Yes, sir. Yeah, I am looking at my list right now, and I already feel like I missed somebody. Yeah. So, that one faction that I don't have on my list that I feel like I missed that could probably go on my top 10, just I don't know where I'd put them. Honorable mention, The New Day. The New Day did not make my list, and I feel like they should have.
Yeah, I didn't put them on there either. I think of them more as like a tag team. I mean, they've been the tag team champions
11 times. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess. But I have other teams on here like that too, I guess. Not really. But anyway, how you want to do this? You want to do evens and I'll do odds again?
Yeah. You want me to do evens again, or do you want to do evens this time?
I don't remember who did who.
I did evens last time.
Okay, I can do evens this time if you want.
All right.
All right, so starting out with my number 10 on my top 10 favorite factions of all time, I have the Inner Circle. Yeah, like I said, I have a lot of when we started the show, I said I have a lot of teams that are somewhat new age on here, a lot of factions that are new age, not a lot of old ones, because when I'm thinking favorite factions of all time, I'm thinking of factions that I enjoyed either growing up or currently. And yeah, factions like NWO, like, yes, that was in my childhood, but it wasn't like, I didn't really get like too into NWO. And then also like the Four Horsemen and stuff like that. They didn't make my list because this, like I said, this is a favorite, not a best. But yeah, Inner Circle, just because every single week I feel like they knock it out of the park. And this has been going on for a long time. Whether it's stadium stampedes or promos or regular matches or whatever it may be, just storylines in general, the whole storyline with MJF getting in there and them still standing strong, and Sammy Guevara being kicked out but not really. Yeah, they just kill it every single week. So Inner Circle made my top 10 as number 10.
Well, my top 10. Number 10 is also the Inner Circle.
Oh, we did it. We didn't do it at all last week. I was surprised.
Yeah. All the reasons you said, they're all great. Sammy's obviously going to be a big part of the AEW's future. Jericho just brought everything to spotlight to AEW. Tag teams.
LAX.
Pride powerful. LAX,
I'm never
them.
gonna stop calling him LAX.
Hager would probably be like the least member to me because obviously he's still doing his MMA. So
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. He's giving them global attention as well because, I mean, yes, Bellator is the number 2 MMA company in the world, but I mean, he's still fighting on a major stage, and he's coming out with Chris Jericho singing Judas and being Inner Circle, like, even in a real life MMA fight.
And that was no disrespect to him. I just like.
Oh yeah, no,
good,
I get it.
But he's like the least member I care about.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's everybody. Yeah, I think everybody would agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you on that one since I had it too. Number 9. I put this under together. I have Bullet Club / The Elite.
Okay.
Because I know The Elite is part of Bullet Club. Well, it used to be. I know they're not technically now, even though they're kind of doing that. So yeah, I just put them all together.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say I'm just gonna type it in as Bullet Club because technically they're the same thing. They were Bullet Club.
Yeah. I didn't watch a lot of the New Japan. I don't watch a lot of New Japan, but I've watched stuff just about the Bullet Club on YouTube, and they absolutely have some amazing members.
Bullet's number 9 is the Elite.
Finn Balor, AJ Styles, 2 of the best. Omega, maybe the best at the moment. Young Bucks, one of the best tag teams. Maybe the best at the moment too. So yeah, they got me to watch stuff from New Japan and all the stuff they're doing in AEW, and I've watched some of the Impact stuff with Omega. You know, I don't watch Impact every week. I said that I just go watch little highlights sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bullet Club / The Elite, whatever you want to put down. Just some good stories for them, and I know they're like a newer one, so I have newer stuff on here too.
Yeah, I mean, Bullet Club has been
And
around since, let me get a date, since 2013.
we have Bullet Ryan giving us his part of his top 10 also. He said
Yeah.
number 10, Latino World Order, and number 9, The Elite. So he agreed with me for number 9, basically, even though I said Bullet Club / The Elite.
My
Guys,
number,
the rest of you can give us your top 10 as we go along too.
my number 9 is the Wyatt family. I enjoyed a lot of the things with the Wyatt family, especially in NXT as well. And then transitioning up, they did a good storyline with John Cena, good storyline with Daniel Bryan, really good storylines with top guys like even Randy Orton as the falling out of the Wyatt family. I have the hiccups now. But yeah, the Wyatt family, just storyline alone and just character development and everything like that. I had to have Wyatt family on this list.
Yeah.
Number 8, number 8, I had DX. The reason DX probably didn't make it higher up on my list, it's probably because I was a younger kid and I would get in trouble for doing the crotch chop and everything like that and telling people to suck it and not knowing what it meant. But yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with DX. I really wanted to leave DX off of my list, but I just couldn't. I mean, with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and even bringing some of the other people that they did into it, yeah, I couldn't necessarily leave DX off of this list.
Yeah. My number 8 is the Hart Foundation. This is the time when you had Bret being heel in America and face everywhere else, and then Owen Hart and British Bulldog and Jim Neidhart and Brian Pillman. They're all amazing. They're all just really good wrestlers, and it was a great story. And yeah, I was watching a lot during this time. You know, I was like
It's favorite
17.
favorite
So,
DK.
yeah, I just really liked them. Bret Hart was always and is still one of my favorites. As last week he was on my top 10 list,
Yeah,
and yours too. But
yeah. Now I left the Hart Foundation off my list, only because I felt like I was too young and I didn't remember a ton about the Hart Foundation. I remember bits and pieces here and there, but yeah, I just felt like I was too young to put Hart Foundation on my list. But yeah, you're number 7.
DKA, it's basically our favorite.
Yeah, it's favorite, not best. I mean, best is kind of that's opinionated as well. Yeah, it's opinionated and subjective as well. So, yeah, when we do our top 10 lists, we're probably gonna stick to favorites because that gives more conversation, and we obviously have 2 different generations of, like, I don't know the word I'm looking for.
Opinions.
Yeah, we have 2 different generations of opinions, basically. So, I was obviously a kid during a lot of the things that pop up on his top 10, and we do trickle in some of the same ones here and there, just like our number 10, both matching up there.
But my number 7 is the Nation of Domination, and I don't mean want to be NAW theme. But yeah, this.
Hey,
this
I was
is
a part of that.
Group. I know. That's why I threw that in there. Had some great stories. You got Farouk or Ron Simmons, whatever you want to call him. I mean, he was Farouk doing this time, and then the Godfather, Owen Hart, The Rock, D'Lo Brown, Savio Vega, Crush, just a lot of great wrestlers. I mean, Owen Hart wasn't like a big member, you know, he came later on, but The Rock And then that whole story where he took over and kicked out Farouk, that was great, and it got The Rock over, and this made him that cocky heel that you wanted to boo, but you wanted to cheer at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that just helped make The Rock what he became. It let him show off his charisma and not just be that baby face that everybody hated and wanted to die.
Yeah. Um. Let's see here. My number 7. My number 7 is The Authority. And a lot of people didn't like The Authority, but I loved The Authority. I mean, with The Authority, you have all the names of, say, Big Show, J&J. You had Batista in there, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, Kane. You had Scott Armstrong, so you had a referee in there as well. Obviously, Seth Rollins is the big one because he was a big portion of that. He's a big portion of The Authority, not only as Authority Seth Rollins, but also, if we want to remember, the Shield was originally part of The Authority. So, I mean, yeah, you have Seth Rollins, Roman, Dean, Randy Orton, obviously. And then you also had Triple H, Stephanie, and Mr. McMahon. Yeah, I loved the Authority era a lot, and a lot of people didn't. But yeah, that was one of my favorite times in wrestling was that era of things. So yeah, the Authority makes my top 10 list. Not very high up there, but they make it at number 7.
Yeah, they had some good stories, and Rollins obviously played a good heel there, which, I mean, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Where's nOw? nOw is on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. Yeah, but number six for me, I have Nexus at number 6. I personally think Nexus could have been way better than they were treated, obviously. I mean, the names that were in Nexus, almost all of them turned out to be very good and stuck around for a while. I mean, you had Wade Barrett, you had Daniel Bryant, you had Darren Young, you had Skip Sheffield, other known as Ryback. You had Michael Tarver, who is now Tyrone Evans. Justin Gabriel, which I wish he would have done more. Heath Slater, obviously, who now is in Impact Wrestling. David Otunga. John Cena for a month. Husky Harris, Bray Wyatt were The Fiend. Yeah, Curtis Axel, CM Punk. So I mean, you had names, and they started out so good. Yeah, I mean, I don't see how they messed them up. I get that John Cena.
They fed him to John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena is the reason for that. But yeah, I mean, they could have done so much more than what they ended up doing, and it is a shame. It is a shame what they ended up doing to them. But
yeah, with the talent they had.
Yeah, they had to make my top 10 because they were so dominant, and I still view them as the faction that could have been. That could have been, because they were the faction that was, and then they went downhill quick because of John Cena.
Yeah. My number 6 is the Wyatt family.
Oh, we have another one.
Yeah, I just love the cult faction, the feel to it, and like you said, when that match against series of matches against John Cena, and then the promo where John Cena's in the ring, and then all the kids come out and are singing, they got the whole world in their hands.
That cage match with the kid, that was creepy.
Yeah.
I still remember that.
Using the little kids like that was like, whoa. that's messed up. Using the kids against Cena. Usually all the kids cheer for Cena. But yeah, I just wish they didn't like crap on him a lot of the times, you know.
Yeah, I think that's another one that probably could have done some better things out there. But yeah, I mean, they did get a couple tag team titles, one in NXT, one in I don't know, Jack. I would have to talk to Travis about when he would be making his debut. I would assume on NPC, which is our YouTube show that goes out on Fridays at noon. As far as NAW debut, that's something that he would have to answer.
When they added Braun Strowman, you know, they had their muscle.
Yeah.
I wish they'd let Luke Harper, Brody, do some more, because after seeing him in the ring in AEW, they obviously just didn't let him go as much.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I thought he
their
shined.
roster.
He shined a little bit as soon as they ended with the Randy Orton stuff. That little feud that he had with Randy Orton, he was starting to show a little spark of something.
Yeah, they should have let him on the mic more instead of making him just silent
Yeah,
hillbilly.
and
I
that's
know
the
it
thing.
worked, but he's great on the mic. They could have just had him.
Yeah, and
Him
he's
and Wyatt together on the mic would have been funny.
yeah he spoke out on podcasts about that. Basically, Vince didn't let him talk because he couldn't do a country accent. Yeah, the dude's from New York. He's from Rochester. I mean, not everybody can do a country accent, so he wasn't allowed to talk because he couldn't do a country accent. So that's really a shame. That's how shallow Vince was for that. Yeah.
My number 5, the Corporation. Vince McMahon trying to just beat Stone Cold, and Stone Cold just fighting back. Basically, is all this was about. But you had The Rock, Triple H, Kane, Big Boss Man, the Stooges, Pat Patterson and Briscoe, Shamrock, and of course Vince McMahon himself. And just wanting to destroy Austin. And Austin's still getting over. Yeah, I mean, it became like the corporate ministry later on,
Yeah.
which wasn't as good, I thought. I like the Ministry of Darkness and the corporation separated more, but it is what it is. You know, I like the corporation.
Let's see. Number 5. Number 5 is one that I chose from TNA. My favorite faction from TNA, Fortune. Now, this is when I was big into TNA. I was watching weekly and everything like that. This was back in 2010. But I mean, just the members of it. This was Ric Flair trying to make another Four Horsemen, but it ended up growing well past that. So I mean, just the names on here. Obviously, Ric Flair. He was trying to groom AJ Styles to be the next Ric Flair, which was great seeing AJ and Rick work together like that. Yeah, Desmond Wolfe was there, which, if you don't know him by that name, Nigel McGuinness, who's a great wrestler. And then you had Beer Money, so you had James Storm and Bobby Roode. You had Frankie Kazarian, you had Christopher Daniels. Yeah, it was just a really fun faction that, like I said, they were trying to start it off as a Four Horsemen with Desmond Wolfe, Bobby Roode, AJ Styles, and James Storm. But yeah, it expanded very far past that once they kicked Ric Flair out of there and AJ Styles took over the helm. that leads us to number 4. My number 4 is one that you had on your list. My number 4 is Bullet Club. I didn't break them down into Bullet Club and Elite because I kind of view them as the same. But I mean, even today, Bullet Club has been around since 2013. They still have 2 original members, being Tamatonga and Bad Luck Fale. But yeah, I mean, just how they've evolved over the years with multiple different leaders and everything like that. I mean, it's just mind blowing. And then not only that, New Japan isn't like some huge thing that like millions of people watch in America, but it was big enough to where Hot Topic was selling out like all of the time of Bullet Club merch, which is just insane. But yeah, I mean, right now you still have really good guys in there like Jay White and Kenta and, like I said, Tamatonga. But I mean, even the guys that used to be there, it's just huge names. I mean, Adam Cole, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, Cody Hall, the Good Brothers, Frankie Kazarian, Hangman Adam Page, Jeff Jarrett was there, Kenny Omega, Marty Scurll, the Young Bucks, obviously Finn Balor, and even guys like Stephen Amell, which when you have that big of growth, that you have an actor the caliber of Stephen Amell joining up, that's pretty big. So I mean, yeah, Bullet Club is easily my number 4. Just the whole lineup that they had and everything like that, just they made such an impact on wrestling, and they're still making an impact on wrestling. So yeah, they make my top 5 easily. Yes, go Green Arrow.
Green Arrow is my favorite of the CW shows.
Mine's the Flash.
Yeah. My number 4 is really old school. The Heenan family.
Yeah, too young for that.
Yeah. I mean, even I was a little young for this, but I still watch some of it, and I've gone back and watched things.
Yeah.
Because Bobby the Brain is awesome. He was better as a commentator to me, but he still was great as a manager too. You had Andre the Giant in there, and then you had Hercules, Harley Race, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, Rick Rude, Paul Orndorff, and the Brainbusters, King Haku. They just were terrorizing the whole WWF at the time, you know, Hulk Hogan, trying to tear down Hulkamania. That's always been Bobby the Brain's thing. Get rid of Hulkamania. I mean, he didn't succeed. Hulk Hogan succeeded more than he did, but
yeah.
Just love Bobby the Brain Heenan. So yeah, I just had to put them on there. I may not have watched a lot of it, but I have went back and watched stuff on them. Alright, so my number 3 is one you had, D-Generation X. And Shawn, like I said last time, Shawn Michaels is like my favorite wrestler, so him being in a faction with Triple H and in China, and of course Rick Rude was there for a minute.
Yep.
And then when it became Triple H as the leader, it was still really good. And Road Dogg and Billy Gunn and X-Pac. Yeah, just, you know, as a late teenagers at that time, everything they were doing was hilarious to me, and you know, the sex jokes and crotch chops, and yeah, just anti-authority.
Yeah.
I found it all great, so yeah, that's why they're up so high for me.
My number 3 My number 3 is the only Triple H faction I wanted in my top 10. But alas, it wasn't. My number 3 is Evolution. Evolution was big for me when I was a kid and growing up. That's really the first faction that I kind of fell in love with. I mean, just some big beefy boys, you know? Yeah, but Ric Flair and Ric Flair, Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H. I mean, there wasn't getting by that. Just the swag they had, everything. You wanted to be like them. And then even like the falling out was so good. Just everybody, just the heel turns on Randy Orton. Yeah, that's the one that really is big because he was up on the shoulders of Batista, and then Triple H put the thumbs down and he got slammed for his efforts. And then even Batista choosing Triple H, that promo alone is another big one, where he was holding up the clipboard and he had the thumbs up, and then he put the thumbs down, and the brawl was on. Yeah, Evolution is a big one for my growth in love of professional wrestling. So they do make my top 3.
I would have put them in my honorable mentions. I didn't put them on my top 10.
Yeah, I really wanted them to be the only Triple H faction. But yeah, I had to throw DX. Now thinking about it, I might slide DX out and put the New Day in there. But again, like you said, they were kind of more tag teamy, 11-time tag team champions. But they did have a world championship in there, you know. Can't hate them. And an IC title with Big E now. Well, not now, but recently. So, yeah. But yeah, my number 2. Okay. My number 2 is the Undisputed Era. Yeah, that's very New Age. As New Age as it gets, realistically. Besides Inner Circle, which both of us had. But just Undisputed Era was so good and had so many big spots. They are the reason War Games got brought back, and they have been in every single War Games since. Yeah, it's just wild. I'm a huge Adam Cole fan. I've been an Adam Cole fan for a while now. Kyle O'Reilly is great. Bobby Fish, meh, but he's been hurt the whole time basically. But then even with like Roddy joining and turning on Pete Dunne, that was just like a huge shock. It just came out of nowhere. Like, yes, they were trying to get him to join, and he kept turning him down and fighting against him, but nobody saw that heel turn coming. Especially after Adam Cole just had a ladder match earlier in the night and was laid out through a table the entire match. Yeah, just so many good, huge spots from Undisputed Era. They did kind of drop down a little bit towards the end and didn't do as... Their turn wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. As I think it should have been. I think it could have been a little bit better. But yeah, Undisputed Era gets my number 2. Dev's now putting in his top 10. He had number 10, Jurassic Express. Number 9, Undisputed Era. Number 8, Raven's Flock. That made my honorable mentions. Yeah, I loved Raven. And that's another cult-like faction, which you love. Number 7, New Day. You can go all the way to number 1 realistically, because we're at number 2 right now. 6, Dudley Family. Yeah, a couple of these I just ignored completely, but they're good ones. I didn't even think
so
about
many
the
good
Dudley
factions,
Family.
it's hard to get everything in there. Like, I don't have Undisputed Era. They would have definitely made honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And the only reason
5, Bullet Club.
the Inner Circle bumped them out for the top 10 is because I think that Inner Circle has done more for AEW than Undisputed Era did for NXT. But
Oh, that's close. That's close. 4
Oh,
DX,
I just
3
think-
aces and eights. Aces and eights is a good one. I had to put Fortune over him though.
I just think it's because AEW was so new and the Inner Circle helped build them, and NXT had already been really good. I'm not saying they didn't help. They
Oh, I agree with
done
you.
a lot for NXT. But
Yeah. Number 2, NWO Wolfpack, and number 1, Team Extreme. Not bad. Not bad. You have yeah, the aces and eights. I did love aces and eights. I can't put Pinnacle on my top 10. It's way too early. They're not even 6 months deep yet. I couldn't do that.
yeah,
I think they have the potential. They have the potential to get on my top 10 because I do love everything MJF has done.
and FTR is really
And
good.
FTR is very good, and Sean Spears is, I mean, he was great as Ty Dillinger as the perfect 10 in
He's good as
NXT
like
only.
an extra guy, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I just
I think
can't
they
put him
need
on
to
my
add a
top 10
lady
yet.
there. I think they need a woman in the faction too.
I agree. I'd agree.
My
You were gonna
number
say Shield,
2.
but if they were part of something else first. Technically, they were part of something else first. They were part of the Authority first, but that was only a couple months. So I don't necessarily full on count them as part of the Authority because the Authority really got big once Seth Rollins turned on the Shield. But yeah, you're on to number 2.
My number 2 is the Four Horsemen. And
Yeah, couldn't do it.
yeah, but I like you said, I'm older than you, so I seen
Uh-huh.
some of that. I seen them in WCW. I didn't see like when the original members, of course. I didn't watch then, but they're very much imitated. I mean, look at the Pinnacle. You got 4 guys, and you have Tully as their leader. That's basically the 4 horsemen there. That's what they're going for. Because they had the 4 horsemen, and then they had God, I can't think of his name. Who's the JJ Dillon, right? He was the one on the side. He was like their manager type at first for original 4, but yeah, they just one of those historic factions that people still talk about. And
Yeah, absolutely.
They've had a lot of different members, and not all of them are great, but you know.
And a handful of them are still relevant today, which is the crazy part.
Yeah, like Tully's still around. Flair pops up every now and again.
Arn is obviously still around with Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they
And then you had Chris Benoit, Brian Pillman, Sid Vicious, Lex Luger, Barry Windham. I mean, not all of those were all like major members, but they were members at one point or another.
DK, didn't you put Jurassic Express as your number 10? I could have swore you had I could have swore you had them at number 10. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, on to your number 1. We've made it. We've made it to number 1.
My number 1, and I included just all different, like the Wolfpack. It's the New World Order. It's just put them as one group because I know they were a different group, but I'm just gonna include them all as one. But the original 3, when they formed, that got me interested in WCW. Because I would watch WCW every now and then, but I wasn't like that into it. But like the first time I clicked over and I seen Scott Hall on there, and then Kevin Nash like a few weeks later, or a couple weeks later, I loved both of them when they were in WWE as Razor and Diesel. When the only live show I've been to, I seen Kevin Nash versus Jeff Jarrett was the main event. It was just a house show, but yeah, I had the Diesel gloves, you know, the fingerless gloves, leather gloves. But then I saw them on there, and then
Jack, this is factions only. Y2AJ is a great tag team though.
yeah, and then I was never, like I said, a Hogan fan. But then when he became the 3rd member, that made a lot of sense. And I didn't hate him, but he wasn't the reason I liked the faction, but it made a lot of sense. He was from WWE, they all both came from WWE. And obviously that just took off and made WCW big. I mean, they beat WWF for how long?
A while.
52 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a few times on the podcast. I was a WCW kid.
Obviously they started putting too many people in there. If they'd have kept it smaller, and it would have been around, I think, a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody was a member at one point. I'm not going to even go into that, you know.
I borderline went into it with the Bullet Club. They had so many people.
I mean, they had Dusty Rhodes in there at one time. I'm like, what the hell? Just to name some of them, like you had Randy Savage, the three I mentioned, the Giant, Bischoff, of course. I mean, he was the head of the whole thing. Steiner, Luger, Six. He was a member for a minute. $1 Million Man. He should have been the leader instead of Eric Bischoff. Like, he had the money.
I'd honestly agree with you on that one.
I think, I mean, it was still really good, and it would have been better if, like, they could have had Bischoff form his own, like, faction to get rid of the NWO. They could have still had him come out as a leader type. Because, honestly, Eric Bischoff was really good as a leader, but it didn't make sense to have him as the leader and have the $1 Million Man, because obviously the $1 Million Man didn't last too much longer after Eric Bischoff joined.
Yeah. Let's see. Jack says his number 4 is the Brood, number 5 is Team Angle. Gravity says, I hate large factions, more than 5 is too many. I think more than 5, if done right. Like Bullet Club, that's a lot of people, but it's done right. I think there can be a healthy thing there, unless you're in NAW and they're just factions for no reason, just to be together. Yeah. I guess we're to my number 1. My number 1 is gonna be a disappointment, but it's my favorite. So. My number 1 is the Shield. Yes, I kind of threw them in there with the Authority, but like I said, it was only a couple months, and I like them more outside of the Authority anyway. 3 of my favorite wrestlers, even today, Dean Ambrose, or better known as, I should say, Jon Moxley. Seth Rollins, who obviously made my number 1 on my top 10 last week. Just kidding. I think he made my number 2. And then Roman Reigns, who is the best thing in WWE right now. Boo all you want. I'm a heel. But yeah, the Shield takes my number 1 spot just because of how good they were. They had tons of great stories, like with the Authority, and the heel turn at the end was the icing on the cake, realistically. I mean, that's how I want a heel turn to go. You keep booing. Yeah, that's how I would want a heel turn to go. Just that sort of surprise, just like that. Not how the Undisputed Era did it. Because we all saw the Undisputed Era one coming. Nobody saw the Shield one coming at all. But yeah, and then even after that, just the feuds that they had down the line of just those 3 going back and forth, they all won world titles within a year of the Shield breaking. That's incredible. Incredible.
They all held the title within 10 minutes of each other.
And they did all hold the title within 10 minutes of each other. Yeah, I mean, no, I loved it. They're all top guys. They're all where they should be in wrestling right now. Besides Seth Rollins, I think he should be a world champion on the other brand. But yeah, that's my top 10. So I'm gonna go down the list of mine and Trevor's top 10. So I'm gonna start with number 10. Myself and Trevor both had the Inner Circle at number 10. So that was a big surprise to open up our top 10. At number 9, I had the Wyatt family, and Trevor had Bullet Club. At number 8, I had DX. He had Heart Foundation. Number 7, I had The Authority. He had Nation of Domination. At number 6, I had Nexus, and he had the Wyatt family. Number 5, I had Fortune from TNA, and he had the Corporation. Number 4, I had the Bullet Club. He had the Heenan family. Number 3, I had Evolution. He had DX. We both had Triple H factions as our number 3. And then number 2, I had Undisputed Era. He had the Four Horsemen. And then number 1, I had the Shield, and he had NWO. That is our top 10 favorite factions of all time. I have posted it online. Feel free to put your whole list in the comments. Yeah, I mean, we do love when you guys get involved. We do like these top 10 lists as well. Last week we did get a little bit more interaction, but you guys picked it up at the end here. I'll give it to you. But yeah, that was it. How'd you feel about your list now thinking back at it?
I like it. There's a few left off that I really wanted to put in there, like Undisputed Era, and but there's so many good factions, it was hard to do, and I wanted to get old and new in there, and I think I did that. And my number 1, I just had to put them in there because I had actually taken a break from some wrestling. Like, I didn't watch it as heavily, and then NWO really got me back into it, and then they helped bring about the whole Attitude Era.
Yeah, NWO was huge, obviously. No problem, DK. I appreciate you being here. But yeah, I mean, I kind of figured that we would have DX. I kind of figured we would both have Bullet Club. But yeah, you definitely had some older ones that I just couldn't relate to. But that's as expected, and that's why I like doing this, because it does really make a difference. Let's see, is JB Hayes in chat right now? Is that somebody in chat? Because they put their top 10 on the Facebook post already. They had DX, NWO, Evolution, Main Event Mafia, Four Horsemen, Hurt Business, Nation of Domination, Ministry of Darkness, Corporation, and the Undisputed Era.
See, I couldn't put the Hurt Business anywhere in even the probably top 20 because they weren't together very long. I mean, I liked them where they were going, but I just think they
got broken up too early. Yeah. No, I completely agree that they got the shit out of the stick on that one.
Do we want to bring up the guy that died, the wrestler, the Patriot?
We can if you'd like.
I mean, he was a wrestler, so yeah.
He was.
Doe Wilkes is his birth name, and he went as the Patriot and the Trooper. I mean, he wasn't a very popular wrestler, but he was in WWE and WCW, and he's got a whole list of other places. But yeah, he died this week of a heart attack. So that's always sad to see someone die.
Yeah, at a young age, 59.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, he wasn't as well known as a lot of people, but yeah, he is a wrestler nonetheless, and yeah, I definitely wish his family the best on that. You thought about Mid-Card Mafia? Oh. But yeah, that is all of the time we have. We've been here for almost 2 hours. That was your top 10, or our top 10 favorite factions of all time, as well as your week in wrestling, of course. Next week, we will be doing something. We'll be doing something. We may do another top 10 because it seems like you guys like doing the top 10s. We also don't want to get the top 10s to be completely stale either. So we will be most likely popping in another retro review here in the next couple weeks. But anything to close out with, Trevor? Oh, this one's so long. Sorry, I got turtles orgasm in my ear. And it's so long and uncomfortable. Hello, darkness,
everybody.
my old friend.
Glad to always have everybody join us. If we do a top 10, come back next week. Have your list ready and put it in chat with us. We always like to hear people's opinions so we can get more discussion going on. And thanks to the ones that did put their stuff in chat tonight.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you missed it and you're listening to it back, like I said, I did put the Facebook post up, so feel free to drop your top 10 in there.
And what do we got going on tomorrow on the channel? I know we have a podcast.
So tomorrow, we're supposed to have a podcast, but I did have something pop up, so that may be put on delay. We were gonna have quite a few episodes of the dosage, but I had something pop up tomorrow, so I'm gonna be out for basically all day, unfortunately. So that may get pushed. I don't know what Gravity's plan is, if he's still gonna push on for one podcast without me, or if we're just gonna put it on delay and make another day out of it. And then Wednesday, I believe we're doing a Halo night. So for those of you who want to play Halo with us, getting ready for Halo Infinite, we are going to be playing Halo 5, and we will be streaming that as well for a community night. Thursday is obviously, you book your GM show for tomorrow? That's last minute, but I mean, if you're down, I just feel bad now that because we've had this plan for a while, but I gotta go family stuff in New York. But yes, Thursday obviously is going to be NAW, and then Friday I may do a pop-up stream of Halo, maybe another community night. But yeah, for tomorrow. Do you have an arena and everything ready? I know you wanted to do your NOW sold out pay-per-view. You have had that in the well for a while. Make another Iron Tag. But yeah, that's it. That is it. So we do appreciate everybody for coming out. We appreciate you guys joining in.
Keep an eye on social medias, and if Trav is going to do that, he'll let us know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're gonna do that, I guess we'll promote it tonight, and yeah. Yeah, but thank you guys very much for coming out. We do appreciate you guys coming out every week for us, and participating as well. That's the big thing here. We're able to have much better conversations when you guys are being active in chat, and talking to us. So we do really appreciate you guys being here and talking to us. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Stay tuned for the rest of the week. We're going to have something every day until the weekend. So until next time, see ya.
The following announcement has been paid for by the
nOw.